Happy New Year! Welcome to Octokeeper's Devlog series. These holidays I decided to take a little break from Octokeeper, but I'm back with a little update. These past few weeks I've been working on the diving mechanic of the baby octopus. The player can approach ponds and throw it in the water. This will help the baby with its happiness and to remain wet. Next I need to create a system for the actual swimming, but that is for the next episode. So let's recap what I did these past 2 weeks. First, I updated my Trello board and added new tasks for this episode. For the throwing mechanic, I need to program the trajectory the baby octopus will follow. And, of course, make graphics for this new mechanic. This implies creating 2 animations. First, the player will grab the baby octopus from his backpack, and then he will throw it in the pond. I started programming a new component for the baby octopus. The idea is, if the pet has this component, it can be thrown into the water. This will give me the freedom to create different octopus pets when it grows in different ways. For example, an octopus that has been taken care of properly will be more bold and jump into the water by itself. But if the octopus had a traumatic experience and grow into a coward octopus, it will probably choose to stay in the backpack and need help with baths. Anyway, this component will let the player know if the pet is ready to be launched into the water, and will manage the actual throw. To achieve this throw trajectory, I needed to determine a landing point for the pet. This landing point will be placed with a few variables in mind: character direction, the length of the throw, and a value to correct the perspective of this kind of game. I will talk about this value later. I wanted to test the position of the landing point. To do it, I used the interaction system I showed you in the prototype episode. When the character is colliding with this interactable object and press a button, the landing point will be placed in the world. For debugging, I use a color sprite for the landing point, so we can see where it's placed. Here you can see the problem with this approach. When the character is facing upwards, the landing point seems to be too close to him. This is because the pivot point of the character is at his feet. This is why I decided to use an extra value for calculating the landing point position. When the character is facing upwards, a small amount will be added to the Y coordinate. Once the landing point is determined, I needed to check if there is a water tile in his position. For the prototype I made a tile map manager that holds the information of the tile map. Passing a position to this tile map, I can check if there is a water tile in it. To test this tile detection, I made a debug message in Unity's console. Whenever the landing point is in a water tile, the console will print a message. Next, I added more interaction points around the pond. If the character is colliding with any of these points, he will be able to throw the baby octopus in the water, but he also needs to be facing a direction where is water. To visualize things even better, I replaced the landing point graphics with the octopus sprite. The problem with this is that the baby octopus sprite has a different pivot point, so it can be placed in the player's backpack. The object that will swim in the water will not be the pet in the backpack, but a new one with a pivot point in the center. For this new object I created a new component. It will handle the swimming logic and the throw movement. The idea is to let the baby octopus swim freely, but if the player leaves its side, it will start to get nervous. To visualize the throw trajectory, I assigned a sprite to this new object. This sprite was used in a really early stage of the game. Later I will replace it with animation of the baby octopus. To create the throw trajectory, I use Bezier curves. Knowing the origin point of the throw and the landing point, I can create a Bezier curve to achieve the throw effect. I also can control the height of the throw and the speed. Here is a small test of this throw trajectory. Next, I jump into a sprite to create the graphics for the throw. To ease the workload, instead of doing 8 different animations, I made the baby octopus spinning in place so I can use that animation in all 8 directions. Then I created the animations in Unity and called the animation manager when a throw is performed. This was the result. It was working properly, but it was weird that the baby octopus remained in the backpack when it's thrown in the pond. So I made new sprites for the backpack when the pet is out swimming. I just needed the idle and walk animations for now. Later I need to create the attack animations for the backpack. Back in Unity I import the new sprites with the empty backpack. I created new animations for the backpack for when the baby octopus is out swimming. But I also needed a dive animation for the baby octopus. When the throw trajectory is done, this animation will play. I have never animated water effects like the splash I had in mind, so I looked for good reference and started drawing frames. I also needed to add some code to call this animation. This animation will be common to the 8 directions, as this eases the workload a lot, but I still have to make 8 different ones for the throwing animation. It will consist of the player grabbing the baby octopus from the backpack and throwing it. Here was the result. As you can see, the animation overlapped the ground graphics. To fix that, I had to adjust the sorting order of the baby octopus when it's swimming or diving in the pond. Changing that, I achieved a much nicer result. What do you think? Next, I searched for a good diving sound. This sound will play when the pet hits the water. It used the sound manager I made for the prototype. For debugging, I set up a button to retrieve the baby octopus from the pond. Here was the result. And to finish this episode, I worked on the throw animation of the player. It consists of a part with the character grabbing the baby octopus and another with the actual throwing. I only have the side view right now, but I will make the 7 remaining directions off camera. Having the animations on Unsprite, I jump back into Unity to import the graphics and to make the animations. As usual in OctoKeeper, this animation is called using the animation manager I made for the prototype. Here was the result. As you can see, there was problem with the sorting order. So I needed to add a bit of code to fix this issue. The object that the character throws into the pond will have a higher sorting order. And it was the result with that issue fixed. What do you think? Do you like this mechanic? And that's the progress I made in the holidays. Sorry for not uploading videos for a while, but I needed a break. For the past few months that I have been making OctoKeeper, I had not too much free time for myself. When the work hours were done, I jumped back into developing this game, and that was taking a toll on me. So I was thinking about uploading videos every 2 weeks, as I don't want to push updates without too much content. What do you think? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any suggestions or ideas for OctoKeeper, let me know. It's great to receive feedback in the comments. See you in the next episode.